There you go. I see you. What's
Is
up,
that,
man?
Not much. I'm just I'm kicking it with you, I guess.
Yeah, dude, that's right. That is right.
I'm trying to homeschool my youngest guy, Liam. He's I got two guys that go to the school where I work, and that's a private school, and then my youngest guy goes to public school here, so our vacations are different.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we were gonna head in the car and drive to South Carolina like we did last year. We went to Charleston, but then like we were on there is closed. I don't know, man. It's a nutty time.
Yeah.
Like and with my boys, they just want to hang out with their friends. That's all they want to do. So like, you don't want to take the devices away because that's like how they're connecting. Like they're playing Fortnite, they're doing Minecraft. You know, you're past that now. You don't have that, but it's like, you know.
Yeah, but you know, it's definitely. Like, man, could you imagine like having younger kids and having to keep them entertained and like, because they just want to hang out with their friends. They want to be, and it's kind of hard to like get them to understand like what's really going on. So
Yep.
You know. So yeah, I hear that. You know, so yeah, like our son, he's just going out for a hike right now. You know.
Cool.
And, I think our daughter's about to go out and just ride her bike around them. You know, but
yeah. Now wait, is your son off to college?
Yeah.
Holy mackerel!
Yeah, dude.
Where is he? Is he playing baseball?
Yeah. Well, he was, but their baseball season was canceled. So
that's another. I know that's a major downer. I just shelled out all this money for spring sports, and everything got canceled, and they haven't been like, here's your refund for the spring season. You know? I don't see it yet, and I'm like, damn, what am I gonna do? Everything in like where I live costs so much money.
She plays volleyball. Volleyball. She runs track at school, but then she's also on a travel volleyball squad.
Yeah, and
that's not cheap, you know.
No.
And that's the thing, man. Like it looks like the rest of their season is canceled. So it's kind of like, all right, they had a few tournaments. They didn't have all of them. So it's kind of like, well, how does that work out? You know, like
our travel baseball season doesn't kick in until the summer. But like he plays at a level which, you know, he has to do the town rec league, and he plays up a level for the town rec league, and that's completely non-existent. And you know, but it's just hard. I mean, I go out, we live like right by a field, so we were just out there yesterday throwing the ball around. It's beautiful out. We'll have to get out after this. The most now at this stage of my life is watching my kids play, you know, and going and meeting the other parents, and you know, and just the bonds that you make through travel sports and with your kids. And as a kid, it's so nostalgic, you know. It's such an incredible game, like, and like, what better game to practice social distancing, you know? It's like, you know, no. Like you don't want to be standing that close to somebody for too long, and if you're the batter, at least the catcher's wearing a mask, and so is the umpire. So like, you're okay. At least with baseball, like soccer. My oldest son plays soccer, and forget about it. I mean, like you're banging heads and spits flying, and you know, like that game would not be good now. But baseball, I don't know. I bet you could play. I mean, like you maybe have to reorganize things in the dugout a little bit, but other than that, like, give them all masks in the dugout. I don't care, but whatever. I think we'll be back. I don't know. Everybody's saying different things, so
exactly.
Whatever. Are you doing? Are you doing any music with like? I mean, I know that it's kind of like a, you know, I was watching your last. Like I'm sort of doing, but I've got like a bunch of friends who have been wanting to collaborate. So I bet you are. It's hard.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. I'm thinking about going to the studio either maybe some later today or tomorrow, I think. And I'm just gonna start working on some stuff. Yeah, you know, we'll see what happens with it, you know. But I mean, so the cool thing is I already have like some stuff kind of like that I'm finishing up, putting like finishing touches on, and then I have a few things to mix for some people. So I'm like, I'm staying busy, you know what I mean? But I'm definitely starting to feel like I'm kind of ready to head into the studio and just kind of see what happens, you know. And honestly, man, it's been cool talking with people. I've been talking with people like every day, like twice a day. I'm like working on. It's like inspiring.
Totally. So, I mean, I know it's an incredible energy, like in and of itself, you know. Like I hate to think that something like this is forcing us to dig deeper, but I mean, I've always loved doing that. In fact, you know, the last album that I put out, with you helped me with doing some drums on, was like all remote, and I honestly, I can't take the time right now to go into a studio and do that. So it's nice, and I think I've gotten really good at planning my work time to make it, you know, the best that it can be if I've only got an hour, because I can't for 6 hours at a time and get into that full mentality. That's just not happening now. So I just think a lot. I try to use my voice memo app. I think a lot. I record shit that's in my, you know, in my head, in my voice memo app. If I've got like, usually it's like a riff or a bass line, and then come back to it later. And it's like, wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, man. I hear you. I've been loving the past couple of years. I've really been loving having time constraints. Like, for example, like there's like this one tune on the last '83 album that we put out, and it's a song. I think it's the only song on the album that I was singing on. Actually, it was. So anyway, I written this tune years ago, right? And I always wanted to put, like, I was like, man, it just sounded like it needed vocals. Mm-hmm. So I was like, man, and I was never hearing anything. And finally, like, I had, you know, we recorded it. I had recorded a version of my own, but then, you know, I brought it to the band. We recorded it, added all this stuff to it. And it was, man, like, coming down to the wire. Like, we had the release date, we had the mastering date, the whole thing, you know, no vocals. Yeah, man. I kind of put myself in the corner, and I went to the studio one day, and I remember I had to pick Lila up from school at like 2:15 in the afternoon. I got to the
forgot.
No, dude, no.
Oh,
no. That was the beautiful thing. I didn't.
Is this Mr. Evans? No.
Yeah, sorry. I know exactly.
Your daughter's here in the pickup line. No, sorry.
So I got to the studio at like probably 10 or 11 o'clock. Man, I came into the studio. I had my notebook. I had the session, and I set up a microphone. Yeah. And I was just like, all right. So, something's about to happen. So I just set up the microphone, and I would just listen to the track, and I would write a line or two. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And I would sing it. And I would like write another line, and I would sing it. And I just kept, and then I started writing some more, and then I just like was singing. And I left the studio at 2:00. The whole thing was done. Like, I don't know how, like, it was like such an adrenaline rush. Because, like, I was like, I have to get this done. I had no ideas. I had the title of the song, Black Rider. And where that title came from, I have no idea. It was like a working title, you know, like years ago. And I couldn't get away from that phrase or whatever, that title. And I just kind of came up with this whole thing. And it was amazing it's amazing what you can do with very little time. I feel like if I for myself, I just get really focused, and I've realized I don't like having like all the time in the world to work on stuff, because I know I meander, you know, just
also, I mean, when you're out and you're living and you're doing things with your kids and you've got experiences, it like you're a sponge and it helps you. I don't know. It like, I feel like since having kids, I've had more inspiration musically, and it actually it took the ego out of it for me. I mean, of course I do enjoy like playing, and I like, you know, not completely. I love getting on stage and blowing my horn, but I realized that like the most important thing is not that. So it's like the rat race to like, you know, to get out there, play as many shows as possible, or name drop. Like who, like people are like, so who have you played with? It's like, oh God, I hate like that question. I just like being able to just have music in my life to help balance me now. You know what I mean? And it's such, I mean, like, I don't really meditate. I probably should. Right. But for me, the music is meditation, because I don't even like, there's like last night I came down into my basement here where I've got like all my crap set up, and I was just like, I don't really play guitar much, but I kind of been forcing myself to just like do some bar chords here and there, and you know, I started singing this tune. See if you can figure this one out. Ready? All right, can you? All right, here we go. So yeah, here we go. Baby, when I met you, there was peace unknown. I set out to find you with a fine-tooth comb. I was soft inside. You know this one? There was something going on.
Yeah,
you know this. All right, and then there's another verse. You do something to me that I can't explain. Hold me closer and I feel no pain. Every beat of my heart, we got something going on. Tender love is blind. Love we feel. Conversation, we ride it together. Aha, you know it, yeah? From one lover to another. Aha, here we go. Islands in the stream, that is what we are.
Oh yeah.
No one in between. How can we be wrong? You know, and so like and it's funny because my vocabulary on guitar is limited to like mostly all the diatonic chords in the key of G major. So like everything I play is kind of in there, and I'm trying to work on the bar chords. So like going to, I was FaceTiming with Tim Palmieri last night, and I'm like, I know there's an easier way to go from open, like to C to C minor, but then he was like showing me like, you know, what my fingers have to do. And like, you know, I just don't do it enough. But it was like, I was recording myself doing it, and every single time, like just wanting to get the recording right, just for the sake of having it. Hey, I love that tune. I played it on the jukebox like all the time when I was a kid, and it was like kind of a diversion from the stuff that I used to like. But for whatever reason, Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton, like that song, maybe because it brings me back to my writing back then was incredible, and he worked me through it, and it was a lot of fun, and it was like, you know, I don't know, like whatever. I've just been kind of feeling a little bit nostalgic lately, and I've been thinking about my parents and hoping that they're okay through this whole thing. And yeah, I don't know. And like a tune like that was just, I think, like kind of what I needed. And you know, whatever. It's just one of those silly things, you know.
I hear that, man.
What, like, so as far as, I mean, you play a little guitar, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And so like pretty well. I mean, like, is that something that, I mean, when you started off, I mean, like, when did guitar enter your life? Was that something that like you started messing with some guitar stuff later on down the road?
Or I think I was like 12 or 13.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, like long time ago.
Yeah, man. It never fell into my hands until like probably about 10 years ago when I started doing kids music classes, and I actually wanted to be more interactive with like giving, like, you know, doing like lessons with kids, like just doing like music camps and stuff. And so it forced me to like learn how to play a 1-5-6-4 progression. Yeah. And you know, but like it's so much fun. I've been really digging it. So I kind of want to start working on that more. I haven't really picked up the sax much, except to just like record it. We had one really good gig in in October, the band Belizbeha. Remember those guys?
Yeah, man. Okay.
Yeah, they had a reunion show because I played with them in like the late '90s after Perfect Thyroid. There was some overlap. I was on the road with Thyroid and like heard Belizbeha in a bar, and I'm like, this is really like the stuff that I want to be playing. I love Thyroid. Don't get me wrong. That was an incredible, fun band to play. I know you know the group, but it was like at that time I was so into acid jazz and Jamiroquai and the brand new heavies and like all that stuff. Like I would go to Rhino Records in New Paltz and find all of the acid jazz albums and just buy them all. Some of it was like really bad and some of it was great, but you know, and so Belizbeha had a reunion in October at Higher Ground in Burlington.
Nice.
And sold it out. And like, so me, Joey Somerville, and Chris Peterman were the horn section for that. And it was just, oh my God, like the feeling of, you know, not playing for a while, but stepping back up on stage with those guys and just like putting that love out there was like all I needed to recharge me for like the next couple months. It was magical.
Yeah, man.
It was so magical. So, and they all felt the same too. They all got families now. We've all changed a lot. We're all raising kids. And honestly, it was like the best the band had ever sounded to me.
Yeah.
It was like, and they had been playing together for years. It's like you take a break like that and then you come back after having perspective.
Yeah.
Holy cow. It's like another ball game. Everybody was just playing from their heart. It was so cool.
Man, I hear that, man. It's like when your priorities change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, when we're younger, like you're all focused on like, you know, we're gonna, you know, just being on the road and you're just like partying, you're having fun, you know, like, but you're like so in that like trying to build the band thing, you know, and just like.
Right.
And then like, yeah, man, life changes, man. And then it's like, it's kind of like you get back to, like, I feel now every time we go out with Soul Live, it's like, we're just there for the love of the music. And that's it. You know, just we love playing with each other and we're just there because we love the music. We love each other. And that's it. It's not about,
it's something else, man. Yeah, I know. It just takes, sometimes it takes a little bit of stepping away, you know, then, you know, I don't know. I've just been trying to stay active, writing and recording and, you know, but it's like, I kind of sometimes feel at my age, you know, that if I were to really try to heavily put stuff out there, I would need the help to do it, you know, and like, I listen to the music that's out and I really listen to instrumental and he's like, you got to start writing lyrics. And I'm like, well, that's not really my strong point. I got to give that to somebody else to help me with lyrics. But it's like, if it's not like dubstep or trap or like, you know, anything that's got like a million cymbal, like hi-hat rolls in it, I feel like, you know, like I could write that. I do a recording class and I could show kids how to put a beat like that together. But I just can't bring myself to put that out there because that's just nowhere close to a representation of me and who I am. And then I wonder, like, if I put this out, who's going to listen to it? I'm going to have like 12 monthly listeners, you know, like, so it's like, unless you're out there and you're in front of big crowds and promoting yourself and saying, look, go to my Spotify page and click follow. It's a hard thing to do. So I'm trying to, you know, but like, I never stop writing. I'm constantly writing. And the great thing is that I can still like send my horn parts to people and I can still be active. And like, I've been working with my buddy, Dean Jones, who you guys should meet. He's so cool. He was the trombone player in Perfect Thyroid years ago, but he's got a studio in Rosendale, New York. And, and he built it like it's a hay bale studio, completely insulated with hay bales in the walls. And like, it's behind his house. It's awesome. And we've been putting out a lot of music together. He won a Grammy, actually. He like he had a kids group called Doggone Fleas that started in like 2000 that we did, and we were doing this, and I moved away and he kept it going. But this other group from the West Coast caught wind of his production and they wanted him to produce their record. So he flew out to the West Coast and he gets a Grammy, and he's got all these other albums out on like that he's put out himself, but he gets a Grammy for producing somebody else's record, you know? Anyway, Dean he's the coolest cat. You would love him. And so he and I do a lot of back and forth together. And the last album that we just did had a lot of dialogue on it. It was like, you know, he and I talking these different scenarios. It's a kid's record. And we did it with our iPhones. We each had a mic set up on our end. Like I got my mic right here. I was like, you know, and we were on the phone and we're talking back and forth to each other. We both had record going at the same time in his studio and in my studio. He took both of the audio files together, put them together, and edited it so it sounded like it was, you know, one conversation.
Yo, that's dope.
It was so cool, and it really kind of goes to show you that you can get creative recording remotely, and I feel like that's one of the greatest things about the recording process is like, remember when we did this? Like my buddy Tim Sutton was in the group Lost in the Sauce, and we used to come up with things. We would record this stuff, and like I love that about recording. It's not just about loading up a software instrument. I'd rather like get up a real sound or sample. You know, I know you think the same way. You know, and that's why I love working with you, and I loved like going into the studio. Oh God, man, that one session that we had was like great. I was just like, this session is gonna happen. I don't care if your computer's broken, but like only because like I had all those cats that were like, you know, it was impossible to get them all together on the same page for those few days. I'm so glad it worked out. Everybody still talks about that record.
Wow, man, that's crazy, man.
And that was so much fun. We had such a good time then. Yeah, that was probably the last. I mean, it's like when you're like a babysitter. you know, and it's like I'd rather just like play saxophone with somebody else, because it's like the heartache. I mean, like if I text you about something, it's like, can you just get back to me, like so I know and I can tell other people. It's just like I'm so tired of like chasing after folks and doing all this, and you know they're great players, but it's so funny how, you know, whatever, it's all good. I mean, everybody's cool. I've been guilty of it myself, but oh God, how do I turn? Oh, dude, I just did it. I flipped it around.
Oh, dude, all right, let me see what you got going here, man.
I just reinstalled the factory presets on this Juno, and it's pretty sick, because I don't know if you've ever messed with one of these things before, but in order to get the factory presets back, what you used to have to do was you had to go to the back here, and you had to go to the tape section. You had to like take a tape deck, and they give you a cassette that contains a tone that sounds like a fax machine, and you play that tone into here. You click load, and you play the tone in, and then it'll like after about 5 minutes the whole thing came back. And so I have no cassette to do this with, so I found the wave file online, and I just auxed out of my phone into the jack, and it worked the first time.
Wow, that's so dope.
So now I've got all of the Juno factory. It's wow, man. It's so, man, I'm so super psyched. So I've been like, a lot of the tunes I'm working on right now are just like heavily using that keyboard.
Wow. So what else do you have? So you got the Juno.
I got a Roland SH201. This is basically like my controller. But it's kind of a cool little old Roland synth. It's a great synth. It wasn't too much money, but somebody had given it to me. A student didn't want it anymore, and he's like, "Here, you want this?" I was like, "Hell yeah!" But you know, it's got a nice like, you know, but whatever. And I've got this little
the Yamaha.
Look at this. This thing is, I don't know if I hold it this way if it'll reorient. Yeah. So this is one of the first consumer sampling keyboards that were available. This thing was like the SA1 on steroids, because look at the. I don't know if you can see this here. I'll
Oh,
bring
yeah.
it in the light, but it's got this section over here that allows you to mess with the waveforms. I mean, look at this. This is on a consumer keyboard right there, and it's got this little. So this is cool. So watch. I can say, like, hold on a second. Let me say your name here. Alan Evans. Alan Evans. Alan Evans. Right? So like right then, and I mean, like, obviously you could do this in Logic, but to be able to just play with this thing so easily. Now, the next thing that's so freaking cool about this is that you can reverse it. So here's the reverse button. Watch this. So now. So now here's the trick. This is what you need to do. So you need to figure out what this is saying phonetically. Like snivak nilla, right?
Yeah.
And then try to do it again and nivak nilla. Nivak nilla. And see if you can reverse it again and come close. Alan Evans.
Yo!
See, watch. Listen, let's see if we can. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool, right? And now here we go. Reverse it. El Rusquito. Reverse it. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool, right? You know? Dude, so you can that made many sessions because Dean's got the same keyboard. I found this keyboard. This is a crazy story because I like going to auctions. Like I'll go to auctions and try to find weird stuff. Like in Middletown, my parents live in Goshen, New York, and my dad's he's like a major collector of stuff. And so my mom and my dad go to auctions all the time. This one auction in Middletown, they had a box, like a lot of like 10 new old stock Casio and Yamaha keyboards like that, like consumer keyboards. And I bought the entire lot of them for like $40, and they were all brand new. So this keyboard, lo and behold, is like the holy grail for like people who like to do lo-fi type of stuff. Yeah. And they'll go in there and they'll circuit bend it and they'll do all these things. But to find one on eBay right now, they're going for like $300. And like I bought the thing for like $5 brand new at an auction. Yeah, it's just, and like I don't know.
Man, I kind of, man, no.
You don't. You're trying to like minimize and live a little. Yeah, I know. I have a little bit of a problem. It's not really a problem, but it's like I kind of got. I don't know. Like I've got a few things that I like to. I mean, I like collecting vinyl, and
yeah.
You know, that's sort of a crutch here.
Yeah.
So I've got all my jazz is like all over here.
Oh
yeah, I know. So it was huge for me, and like my dad still brings me stuff. Like I got this King Curtis and Champion Jack Dupree, some Jerry Mulligan. Oh my God, dude! Last night I started watching this Chet Baker documentary from 1988 on YouTube. Really? Yeah, it's so good. I never really like dug into much Chet Baker, but he's like, oh my God, like one of the most romantic and lyrical like singers and players. I mean, like it's amazing how much his voice is like his trumpet playing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's so like not much vibrato, just lyrical. Like holy mackerel! I was completely like I just happened into this. I wasn't planning on watching it, but I went down a wormhole and started watching it last night. Really, really sick.
That's dope, man. So I know you must have seen the Coltrane documentary.
Oh, chasing the. Miles one. The Miles.
No, you know what? I need to. Is it good?
Oh, it's great. I forget the guy who narrates it. They got somebody to like tell, like to speak all of Miles's quotes, but the guy sounds just like Miles. So it's like, you know, and at the very beginning, you're like, this is kind of silly, but it's actually, as your ears settle into it, it's actually kind of cool because they mix it with like footage of him. And it was really well done. I saw that one. I saw the ZZ Top one that they just put out.
I've been meaning to watch that, man.
Dude, you got that, and I actually just learned like a little tidbit. I don't know if you know Terry Manning. He's one of the producers. I think he produced he was like the Cheap Sunglasses era of ZZ Top, in Cheap Sunglasses, there's this little break where it's like, it sounds like a whirly going, ba ba boo boo ba ba, you know, like this little thing. And I, for years, thought it was a whirly. And then I'm like, you know, no, it actually isn't. It's just, it's an effect that they put on the guitar. They like phased out the guitar or something like that. And Terry, I guess that was cleared up for me. So it was, you know, kind of cool. It was a great, I mean, they obviously like can't touch on every aspect of their career, but I mean, they left out a lot, but what they got was a chance, you know? Yeah.
That saved in my list, you know, and I just,
it's good stuff, man. Yeah. So listen, tell me about, I was wondering, like, what are some of the, like, how far back in your life can you remember? Like, what's some of, like, music or
Okay, so there's a few. So I mean, I can remember how far back. Whew, man, some of my earliest memories would be like, so my father, when we were really young, my father would put us to, like, before bed, he'd always put on like music, and we'd have like these little dance parties, you know. And then, like, the dance party would go from the living room where he had a stereo, and then we would walk like upstairs to the bedrooms, you know, and then we go to bed. Right. So back in the day, he used to put on what is the it was like a Quincy Jones record. It was like the Elephant Walk.
Okay.
And that we used to we would be walking around the house, you know, the living room with our hands like locked together like this, like, you know, elephant trunks, you know, and just like,
oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah. So we used to do that, man. And so that was like some of the earliest music I can remember. And then I definitely like remember being young, like really young. And I remember listening to modern jazz quartet a lot when I was really young, and then Miles Davis, like, his whole collection was crazy, man, you know. But then like my older brother Rod, he lived with us for like a little while, so I remember back in the day, man. I mean, I can remember when, dude, this is crazy. I remember when Off the Wall came out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, literally, like when it came out. I remember when Off the Wall came out.
Right.
I was like 4 years old.
Yeah. I mean, I remember. Oh my God. I mean, I just remember hearing like, I mean, like in 10 seconds, you're just. But that was like, man, I don't know. Like when that song just makes you feel a certain, I mean, it's just, oh my God. And it was like so fresh back then. Dude, it was like, oh man.
Shame, man. But that's the crazy thing though, man. Like I've been in like, you know, like clubs or wherever, you know, hanging out, and that tonight, well, not tonight, I guess, but like when the clubs open back up, that tune could come on no matter what else was playing. You know what I mean? Like whatever the newest, you know, like Cardi B cut,
Yeah.
whatever, you know, and that cut will come on.
Yeah.
It's a rap, man. It's a rap.
I
like
know.
People aren't like leaving the floor to go get a drink or like.
This does this too. Here, let me see if I can do this real quick while I got you on.
Dude.
Because I don't know what it is. There's something about this.
Yeah,
Here.
throw it out, man.
Let's
Throw
see.
that
I'm throwing this on. Here. This is just the baddest shit ever right here.
Dude, what?
And, that's just like,
I know, man.
I mean, but that's like Quincy at his finest.
Dude, man. Dude.
You know?
Man.
I mean, it's just, God, like all that shit that came out on Quest. There's another Quincy record called The Dude, which is really
come
cool.
on, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I got that over here, man.
Yeah.
You know I have that, man. Come on, dude.
Who is it? That's The Dude.
Yeah, exactly, man.
I mean, like, oh God, Quincy is, man.
Dude,
He was able to bring out like the best in so many musicians. It's,
dude,
you know,
it's insane, man.
Have you
so
met him?
No, man. I wish, man. I hope I can, man. I don't know. It's man, that documentary messed me up, man.
Dude, I almost didn't want to watch it. Are you talking about the Michael Jackson one?
No, man. I'm talking about Quincy Jones.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
Yo, Shane, dude. That is one of the craziest. It's incredible, man. Incredible.
All right, I'm gonna have to see it.
It's so.
Yeah. Well,
incredible.
no. It's on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it. I always go past it, and I'm like, I can't open this can of worms right now because it's just gonna be too deep. I want to watch it when I'm like not too tired, and I know that I'm not gonna get interrupted.
Yeah. No,
I have to gotta jump in, you know.
Yeah. No, I've watched it a few times, man, and it's so crazy. His life is just. I mean, there was a lot of stuff I thought I knew about Quincy Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, man, I grew up listening to Quincy Jones, man. You know what I mean? Like my father was all about it, man. Like, man, I was like listening to Walking in Space when I was like,
I got it. Yeah.
Oh man, man, come on, Gula Matari, man, like all of them, dude, come on, man.
Where is that? Hold on a second.
Woo,
Let me
man.
see if I think I probably even have that here. Let me see. H.I. Ahmad Jamal.
Yeah, man.
Hold on. You ever hear these Ahmad Jamal albums?
Yeah.
That's just the sickest shit ever.
I know, man.
Oh,
yes.
Here we go.
Yes.
Right there. Right.
Woo.
And then
yeah, I got that too.
you got this. So the crazy, I was having this OCD moment where I'm like, well, where do I put the like, give me the night George Benson? Do I put that in my R&B soul section, or do I keep it with
your other Benson
when
record?
He was like how he initially started? So then and that's the same for like Herbie, you know, like what?
Oh, dude.
Like
yeah.
where do you go?
Headhunters?
Or like
Yeah.
right, like where? I mean, that's just like, to me, that's like the funkiest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And I don't, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm like, I'm just going to keep it all with Herbie. He started out as a jazz piano player. Just keep him over there.
Yeah.
Look at here. I'm going to pull a couple of these out and see, because this is like, if I think back to the earliest like memories that I have with my parents, and like I'm an only child, so there was a lot of attention on me.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, but my mom was really, really into music. Like, you know, and
Yes.
I just remember, like, the white light on the front of the vacuum cleaner, and she's like, and she was like doing the cha-cha with the vacuum cleaner. Like, it's just the funniest thing ever. But like, we had this was like one of my favorite albums of all time.
Yeah.
Stranger. Like, that's like, I can remember hearing that in my house. This was huge. That was my mom like would always skip to Sir Duke. So I remember like that tune like just resonates so deep with so many. But like, I mean, this even right here, this is silly, but like this Village People album, if there's there's a track on here called Hot Cop, which is probably some of the best disco like that you've ever, it's insane. Abbey Road.
Yeah.
This Abraxas album.
Oh yeah, man. Yep. Without a doubt.
You and I listened to this together like years ago. This was that other Galactic Funk, that Star Wars.
Yes.
Like, thing. Yeah. That was on 8-track. They took me to see Annie when I was like 6 years old, and that like watching the orchestra pit was huge. You know, like you think, you know. I have it on cassette. I got it on tape. I got this on tape.
Oh shoot!
That's
nice.
some dude in New Paltz gave me that tape. He was a dude that would always come out, and he's like, "Check this out." And I think at the time I was really into like Lenny Pickett and Maceo, and then I heard Fela. And like part of me was like, dude, he's not really playing in tune. and then like I don't know what it was. I just started listening to it more, and then all of a sudden I got it.
You got it, yeah.
Like I'm like, what a dumbass I was. I can't believe like for a second like I even thought that. You know, it's just so funny. It's the funniest thing, man. Like how that all works.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Like Pointer Sisters were huge.
Oh yeah,
Hall and Oates.
Yeah, dude. Yep.
The Muppets were a huge inspiration.
The Muppets, dude.
Well, no, the Muppets show. I mean, like, do you remember all the guests
movie
that were on? Right,
dude. The Muppet movie, man. I watched that recently, man. Come on, man. That's such a dope movie. The music. Oh, there you go, man.
I put it in here because I know.
The tunes on in that movie are so crushing, man.
Yeah, totally. I know. It's killer. The Goonies. I mean, like,
yes.
We used to have. Do you remember the record label Ktell?
Of course, man. Oh, come on, dude. Of course.
Yeah. Well, I had like this is like one thing I really wanted for my birthday, and I got it. It's this I still have it. It's the same thing. So this is like electric breakdance because my friends had it on tape because it had the long version of Jam on It by Nucleus.
Oh,
it was like the version they never played on the radio. So like when you got this, you were like, holy cow. And the best thing about this is that, and with a lot of records, as you know, come with like a little thing. And this one has a fold out poster. This is so so you can see it. I don't break it.
Yeah.
Okay. This is it's a poster. It's huge. Look, I mean, just to give you the size of it, like it's not like breaking moves by the New York City Breakers, and every single one of them shows you how to do it. You know, and I swear I would like. My dad fixed cars. He was like an auto body guy. So whenever he would get like a part, like a hood would come in. He'd save the cardboard box for me, and he'd bring it home, and he'd be like, I got a new box for you. I was like, yes! And I'd go to my room, and I'd like break my neck trying to do the head spin.
Yes.
It's still some of the most incredible, like, I mean, I don't know how people, like skateboarders can do it too, but like people that can do that with their bodies is like the most amazing thing ever.
Yeah, no. So back in the day, dude. So back in the day, like like Drees and Neil and I. We used to like break dance, but I kind of like checked out after I saw, you know, when cats started doing like the spins on their heads and stuff.
Yeah, know? Right. Like the windmill or whatever the hell that thing was called. Where they,
on the head, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, I tried that. I was like, nope, I can't.
Yeah. That would not be the way. I mean, I guess if you're going to like, I don't know, dude. Yeah, dude. Why are you in a wheelchair now? Freaking head spin, man. Oh, God.
Yeah.
I mean, it just does not seem right for your body. I don't know how people, I mean, you must have to have like a real. The body's not supposed to. Like gymnastics and all that stuff seems reasonable. Like it's all like upper body core, but like to fucking spin around on your head like that, like I don't know. Yeah, it always amazed me. I tried to do it for a talent show one. I was wearing sneakers, and I almost do it. I'm not getting, but like I tried doing it wearing like my zips on a piece of cardboard, and I just ripped the cardboard up like in front of all these people, and it was the funniest freaking thing ever. But think about all the great music that came out of that, though, and how that all started. I mean, that was like, you know, the Treacherous Three and like Sugar Hill Gang and gosh, I mean, that stuff is, the sickest shit ever.
Yeah, like, dude, for real.
We used to tape the radio all the time. Remember taping the radio?
Oh, of course, man. Of course. Oh, dude.
And being like all pissed off if the DJ was talking over the song you were trying to record.
Exactly. Yep. Totally, man. Yeah, I remember that all the time, man. Especially like when new cuts would come out, you know, you'd always be set up because you know they would be promoting it, you know, and you're like ready to record. Oh yeah, right. Man.
I know. It was like I used to get so pissed when I would always want to get a good, clean version of "Let's Go Crazy," and I wanted to get the version that had the long intro and had the guitar solo at the end. Because like Z100 wouldn't play that. Like you'd have to catch that at a very special time, like maybe later in the day. Like if they were trying to like fill up, they would play that. But man, holy cow.
Or like late night on the college radio stations. You know, you might be able to catch. That kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. How you doing on time?
Man, hey man, you know, we're good, man. Yeah, we're good. We're chilling, you know.
What else is there, man? There's like, you know, I was just pulling some local bands that inspired me to like this one.
Yes, Como Zoo, Como Zoo, dude. Yes.
Como Zoo, like, I mean, like, do you ever check out Yoke?
Oh, dude, come on, man. Yeah, dude. All of us used to run together. You know that, man.
Well, I don't know. Like, did Yoke and Moonboot play together?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sweet. The saxophone player, Jeff, is one of my closest buddies. He's doing the whole loop thing right now, and I had him come to Brunswick and do, like, a whole thing. There's you.
Yeah.
Right here, ridiculous. Heavy rhyme experience.
Yeah.
And then of course that.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's just so much. It's like we could talk about this forever, but I don't know, man. It's just a lot of fun thinking about influences and tracing it back and where we are now. And now that we're raising, you've got kids who are in college. I've got one that's a freshman in high school and trying to deal with that and the social media. And I don't know. It's crazy.
I hear you, man. You know, the thing that kind of trips me out, man, is like, I don't know, man. It's really interesting to see how kids these days communicate so much on their phones, you know? Like it kind of like it's really interesting. Like it's like a different you know, back in the day, man, we used to just, like, go outside, you know, hang out with your friends and, you know, this and that. Like, it doesn't seem like that's like the vibe anymore, man. I mean, kind of, but
yeah. Well, I mean, the one good thing I got to say for Dylan is that every summer he goes off to a sleepaway camp for 3.5 weeks, and like way up on Lake Champlain, and they just unplug for 3.5 weeks. It's the best thing. It's the best thing for them. I mean, I think that it's so easy to get addicted to the device, but sometimes if you put it down for an hour and you're like, I really don't need to be looking at this, but it's hard not to, especially as their parents. I mean, like, you know, you post something, you want to see if people respond and all this stuff. It's like, whatever. It's not, you know, but then again, it's like going outside and having those experiences, you know, they shaped who I was. They shaped who you were, you know, and you'd figured shit out on your own, you know.
Yeah.
And I also think it's so easy to, I don't know, a lot of parents that I know are just like always jumping into their kids and solving their problems. I'm like, you know, like, oh, somebody was like really upset, like at school today, and like then the parents are calling in, you know, I'm like, look, they got to learn how to work that stuff out, you know. I mean, like, man, to a degree, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm not like saying be completely, you know, hands off, but I mean, I think there's some life lessons to be learned, you know.
Yeah, man.
I remember we used to go swinging on this vine. And this vine like hung. It was like thing that we had to do. We'd go out, pretend we were Tarzan. We would run out and the ground would disappear. We swing out on this thing over this like ledge and then come back in. Yeah. And one day I had this grand idea that I was gonna like hold my bike, like ride my bike and hold the vine at the same time. And I rode down the hill and I let my bike go like some freaking James Bond shit. And the bike like took off and I'm on the vine and I'm like, yeah, baby. And the vine snapped and I was like, ah! And I landed and like I got the wind knocked out of it. And like, you remember the first time you ever got the wind knocked out of you?
Oh yeah, dude.
You're like, like you just like you think you're gonna die. And then like nobody cared. They were just like, you broke the vine. I was like, oh. It was like, it's so funny because now on Facebook all the mine are like, we're all grown up, we still talk about that, and that was like it was so funny. Yeah.
What happened to the bike?
Oh, the bike just went off into like the pricker bush, and I had to like after I luckily I could have really gotten hurt. I didn't. I just knocked the wind out of my. So I landed on my back, and that was like I remember that. And then I fetched the bike out. The bike was cool. But but it was like that like every day. Like it was like every day we had our family outside and we would do stuff. Like I also remember like we used to sled in the cemetery, which was like on the other side of the fence. We didn't think anything of it. We didn't think that like zombies were going to come up and attack us or how weird it was to be sledding like around headstones. We just didn't care. We were kids. And the one day like I didn't want to go all the way through the woods to come back to my house because there's like a chain link fence where like if you wanted to you climb up over the fence and take a shortcut home. And like so I'm like I'm just gonna go over the fence today. I don't care. And I was in my red snowsuit and I got caught on the top of the chain link fence and I was like hanging upside down from my snowsuit and nobody, you know, like, and then it ripped and then I fell down. I mean, like, I love those memories. That's just the funniest, you know, and like, those are the kinds of things that I think our kids, you know, like just from being out and being disconnected and just forcing them to get out and play. And, you know, those are the moments right there. It's hard raising kids in this era with everything being tempted by TikTok and, you know, everything else they're doing. But, you know, we got this. I kind of like being able to go down and I'm like, you know, the tunes that I'm working on now, it's kind of cool. Like buddies are sending things and, you know, it's forcing us to get creative. It's, you know, and
Well, man, so, I mean, you know, like, we'll have to do the same thing, man. Like I said, like, you know, the studio's only like 20 minutes from my house, 25 minutes or whatever, you know, and I'm definitely trying to get up in there. So, You know, maybe I'll just send you, maybe I'll just send you some stuff. We'll just, we'll just send stuff around, see what happens,
That's what we're doing, man. It's like cotton candy. Just put the thing in there and just wind it around and just get like everybody get a piece of this. I just did a track with Chris Gartman from Peace Bomb. And his wife Alana, who do you know Ted Orr? Remember Ted, the guitarist? Yeah, his daughter, and those are all guys from the Blue Food days. Yeah, I remember seeing you guys play. I was playing in Blue Food at the time. It was one of
That's right.
It was it was insane. Like, I mean, like we were just like totally digging it, and it was like at a time that, and I don't know, like I just had started listening to Jimmy McGriff and Jimmy Smith and the organ players and the Meters. Like it just kind of like at that time, like, when I was doing the JBs and the Meters, like I went there in Parliament, and I really just started really getting into like funk, like really like I was always loving Tower of Power, but I started branching out and really getting into all, the history of it and listening a lot. And then you guys came along, and it was like at the right time. Like I don't know, like, and like what was that all about? I mean, like, was that like coming out of you and Neil being like, I mean, Moon Boot I felt was always really, really super funky, but I felt like Soul Live was cool in the sense that it was mostly instrumental, and there were a lot of like melodies and forms going on that you guys were working on, but it hit like at a time when it just blew up. Everybody,
we got lucky, man. Well, the funny thing is, man, so it actually it kind of started back in Moon Boot. Like, and the funny thing is, so this is how long, I mean, Kim and I have been together since what, 93, 94?
Yeah.
Something like that. So back in the day when we were playing in Newmarket at the Stone Church, we used to stay with her and her roommates at her house, you know what I mean? And one time after a gig, we just all went back to the house, just had, partying, whatever, doing the thing. And somebody put on Grant Green, Green is Beautiful. And that's the first time I had ever heard Grant Green. I was like, yo, what is, dude? And I went down, and back then, that was like 94. Oh, no, that was Neil and I just went wormhole, man.
But had you been like prior to that? I mean, obviously James Brown and the Meters. Like, when did the Meters enter your life? Right. But then, of course,
but there was something. I mean, I grew up listening to James Brown, but there was something about Grant Green that just hit me differently. You know what I mean? Like, and so then Neil and I, when we were, when we would have breaks from Moon Boot every, like, it was like August, we would just kind of chill, not gig much. And Neil and I would just go back to Buffalo to visit our parents, and we would just set up down in the basement and just start grooving, like that stuff, like that Grant Green stuff. And then for a few years, that was just it was just on the back burner. Yeah. And then when I went out to San Diego to play with the Great Boy All Stars, I kind of got, like West Coast Boogaloo.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I knew I wasn't a side man. So I was like, well, screw it.
Is that how you met Carl Denson?
Yeah. Yep. So I was playing with Carl, on those cats. And then, so Kim and I were living out in San Diego, but then we came back. But when I was, so I hit, I was like, yo, man, we got to start this song. And it was like the first song I wrote was Soul Live Uncle Junior. And I was like, and I was telling him, like, man, let's just, let's do like what we've been, that Grant Green kind of vibe, like whatever. And that's kind of where it started, man. That's, and from there, and it just so happened that we lucked out timing wise that it was like, it was happening. That stuff was happening in New York. People were digging on it, like, and then Schofield put out a Go-Go, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That was insane.
And then from there, it was a wrap, so timing, timing.
And Yeah, and you guys, you know, like I said, it was funny and coincidental because I just got outside for a minute.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna do the same, man. But yo, dude, it was awesome talking with you, man. You know.
Yeah, you too, brother. This is great. I think it's awesome that you're doing this.
Yeah.